All right, we are going to continue to look at some place value to help us compare and order numbers. Now, the biggest thing that trips students up with this is they're not remembering whether or not to go from least to greatest or greatest to least. So please pay attention to that. So here we're going to go to least to greatest. And here are the numbers we are going to use. 5/10, 55 hundredths, and 6/10. Well, we're going to pay attention to place value, okay? So they all have a 0 in the ones place. Then I take a look here. There's a 5, a 5, and a 5. Or I'm sorry, and a 6. So we automatically know that 6/10 is going to be the greatest. So I'm just going to copy it right down there because I know it's going to be the third number because it's the greatest. So done with the 6/10. All right, now let's look at the hundredths. There's nothing here, so there's an invisible zero here, 0 there, and there's a 5 there. So I know that because in the hundredths, this is a 5 and this is an invisible 0, 55 hundredths is going to be greater. So I'm going to say that 5/10 is the least and 55 hundredths is the second greatest. So I go 5/10, 55 hundredths, 6/10. And in this case, numbers were already in order. All right, so let's go ahead and have another example. This time we're going to go greatest to least. And I have 38/10. Or I'm sorry, 38 hundredths, 4/10, and 36 hundredths. All right, and I'm going to go from greatest to least. So I'm going to pay attention to place value. They all have zeros in the ones place. So I'm going to look at the tenths. 3, 4, and 3. So automatically I know that 4/10 is going to be the greatest because it has the highest digit in the tenths place. And the tenths place is greater than the hundredths place. All right, so now I need to look at the hundredths place in 38 hundredths and 36 hundredths. 38 hundredths is going to be larger because it has an 8 in the hundredths place instead of a 6. So I'm going to say 38 hundredths and then 36 hundredths. Sound good? All right, you go ahead and do this one. This one is going to be least to greatest again. And here are your numbers. All right, you go ahead and put those in least to greatest on your own. All right, so none of them have anything in the ones place. So let's go ahead and look at the tenths. I have a 3, a 5, and a 3. All right, so I automatically know that this 53 hundredths is going to be the greatest. So I'm just going to write it right here. Get it out of my life. All right, so now I need to look at the hundredths place, 5 in the hundredths place, and an invisible 0. So the smallest out of these is going to be 3/10 because of that invisible 0. And then 35 hundredths. 3/10, 35 hundredths, and then 53 hundredths is going to be the greatest. All right, let's try one more. We're going to go greatest to least. Okay. And your numbers are here. All right, go ahead and try that last one on your own. All right, so looking at place value, ones place, there's nothing there. Tens place, I've got a 1, a 6, and a 6. Well, this is obviously going to be the smallest one. It's the 16ths. It's got 16 hundredths. It's got a 1 in the tens place, and the other ones have a 10. So I'm going to put this right here at the end because I know it's going to be the least. All right, now I have an invisible 0 and a 1. 1 is greater than invisible 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put 61 hundredths there as the greatest and 6/10 as the second greatest. So I have 61 hundredths, 6 tenths, and 16 hundredths.